You in prayer tonight. Just thankful for our lives here in West Plains. We just thankful for who you are. Lord, I just pray that you would be among the proceedings tonight, be with councils. They're making decisions on behalf of the city of West Plains. And we ask this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Mayor will begin tonight with the consent agenda.
Make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
So be it. Next item on the agenda is recognition of guests. Tonight we have Chris Fabian from Resource X. He's the co-founder. Presentation on priority-based budgeting.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Tonight, we've got Chris. He's up on Zoom for us all the way from Colorado. If you're wondering whose fault it is that you have such an amazing finance director, it's mostly Chris. Chris actually liked one of the things that Sam posted on LinkedIn about a year ago, actually. And I saw it because I know Chris. And so that's how I kind of got connected to West Plains. I wanted to give you just a very brief thing about priority-based budgeting. Most of you already know, we've already had a few conversations about this, but priority-based budgeting is a way that we can take our line item budget, break it up and show it in a programmatic format so that you can see what really are we paying for, what types of things, what does this office supplies support? And then those programs are scored based on the values that are set by the community and then based on certain program attributes that are predefined. Priority-based budgeting has been implemented in over 300 governments. So it's not just a little bitty thing. We've got a lot of experience to pull from, and Chris and his team have done an amazing job coaching our staff through our first year of priority-based budgeting this year. We are this close to done. So we wanted Chris to give you guys a brief presentation on what you can expect from here going forward.
Okay.
Chris?
Thank you. Erlene, can you hear me okay? I tested with Brett earlier.
Yep.
All right, great. I'll try to get my screen situated here. And hopefully that's coming through. It looks like I can see the screen in your room. Thank you, everybody. Thanks for having me. I'm in Denver, Colorado, mayor and council and staff and any of the residents who are there. It's pouring rain, so it's a little bit dark out here. Hopefully you have some better weather going on in West Plains. As Erlene talked about, we had implemented priority-based budgeting in the community that she worked for prior to West Plains, the Littleton, Colorado. And Sam, I had a chance to work together with Sam back in the Joplin days as well, in some of the earliest renditions of priority-based budgeting. So you are in trusted hands between Sam and Erlene. They truly understand the value proposition and what this can do to budget discussions with council overall. I am getting a little bit of feedback. Is that happening on your end? I don't want it to be.
Nope, it's just you, Chris.
Okay, sounds great. Well, I thought I'd give you a little bit of sense of what priority-based budgeting is all about, what to expect, as Erlene mentioned, and how far you've traveled in such a short time. Honestly, you made incredible progress just 1 year in. I thought it would be helpful to know that the leading professional associations for finance and budget directors, that's the Government Finance Officers Association, GFOA, as well as the leading professional association for city managers, is called the ICMA, alphabet soup, right? They are both behind an initiative encouraging every local government to rethink budgeting, espousing that the challenges that you face in your shoes as you're trying to look out for the community, we're not getting what we need out of our traditional budget process, and that's why a priority-based budget process is something that is actually relevant. I got my start in local government when we first invented this approach, and hopefully what you're seeing on the screen right now, this is generic line item data If you're feeling a sense of irritation and stress, and that's intentional, that's what the line item budget does. It usually discourages the eyes to look away at something else. And this is how budgeting has been done for 100 years. Seriously, the line item budgeting approach celebrated its 100-year birthday last year. And if you think about that, like, the times have changed a little bit. When I was in local government, we would spend months going through the budget process only to produce about a 500-page budget book. We'd have our meeting to adopt with our board of elected officials. And at the end of the day, our elected officials, maybe this is what you think, you go, wow, for all the work that we just did, I'm sure it's balanced. I'm sure it looks good. But can anybody tell me, like, what did we just buy? Are we getting safer and more prosperous with this budget? Are we enhancing economic vitality? Maybe our overall quality of life or recreation? When it comes to the outcomes that you're trying to accomplish on behalf of the residents of West Plains, it's not intuitive to understand how all of the funding at the line item level contributes in the best way possible to achieving these outcomes you're trying to deliver. And so that was like the major disconnect we set out to try to fix with priority-based budgeting. And this is what your staff has been working on. We had to create a path to go from line items, which we can't get away from, to programs and services, and take those programs and services and align them with outcomes for the first time, to have a measurement device, no different than a scale, to understand resources into results. And that is the premise of priority-based budgeting. So truly, we're going to visualize the budget, not from a line item first perspective, but from what you care about, a results first perspective overall. What I'm showing is a strategic plan from a community not like yourselves in Michigan, approximately 20,000 in population, a little bit less, honestly. So they looked at all of their results, and they have economic vitality, and they have quality of life and a safer community overall. And as most organizations do, you have this strategic plan, but from a results first perspective, after all is said and done, and this is what you can expect, we can ask ourselves, how much are we investing in economic vitality or shared prosperity or a safe community? And can we drill into it and see the programs that we're funding, programs on behalf of our residents overall, in this case, entrepreneurship and neighborhood business support or workforce development. This is so much different than looking at each and every line item and saying, how much are we spending on supplies and services this year? Well, that's important. You still are managing the power of the purse strings as elected officials. You just also want the bigger picture of the results that you're funding and the programs behind it. So communities of your shape and size, from Longmont, Colorado to Battle Creek, Michigan, Flagstaff, Arizona, even Branson, Missouri, even larger organizations like Kansas City, Missouri, have embarked on this approach, and now you will be perfectly situated to understand your investment into programs and programs into results, in addition to the line item data that you have. Well, let me show you something else, and this is, you can probably start to appreciate, this is great, I can see line items to programs, programs to results, but when it comes to decision-making in the budget process, no matter how good we get at strategic planning, there seems to be this leap right to line item data. We say we're in business to get more prosperous and safer and encourage quality of life. And yet when decisions are made in the budget process itself, we still find ourselves looking at each and every line item, wondering, why is miscellaneous funding going up this year? Or why is copier and toner line item going down? And with the program data, as I'll show in my next slide, we are hopefully going to give you far more interesting information to debate at a policy perspective. Let me show you what I mean. This is a before and after picture. Again, if you're squinting your eyes, it's because this is what line item data is all about. But for this organization, before is like 1 year, after is the next year. As you're looking at this, you can see like non-personnel data, their costs go from 32,000 to 27,000. And maybe if you're a cost-conscious elected official, you go, well, that's great. I don't know what we're funding here, but the costs are going down. So hopefully that's a good decision. And if you scrutinize, you might be able to see that books and magazine subscriptions went down and software maintenance went down. And you're kind of analyzing these line items and you're wondering, what is the bigger picture here? Is this a good decision or a bad decision if this came to you as a recommended budget in the budget process? Maybe we layer on some personnel data and we say, now look, personnel also went down from 92,000 to 82,000. But still, our elected officials just constantly felt a little uneasy about what is really happening in this budget recommendation. But if I go one step further and tell you that all of that down below was a part of the story about how one program, payroll processing in this case, is moving from $120,000 to overall $109,000. Now you've got a forest from the trees type of moment where you go, now I can make heads or tails about the software equipment and the books and magazine subscription. This is processing payroll. I get that program overall. This is what we wanted to create, was a program level where you can debate, hey, payroll is pretty important. We want people to get paid on time in our organization. And as you can see, what's actually happening in the storyline of this recommendation is from 2018, when the cost of the program was $120,000, to 2019, there was investment in software, and the software for payroll was meant to create programmatic efficiency. And by the time they got to 2020, you can see the costs go down from that green bar, 125,000 to 109,000, because we achieved an efficiency, and the team was able to do without one of their staff members overall. This is such a powerful storyline, and it's what happens when we can move from line items alone to the programs that you are providing. And as you start to get into understanding all of your priority-based budgeting data, this is exactly the kind of thing that you're going to be able to see as well. I picked one other community of your size, a suburb of Edmonton, Canada, if you've ever been there, but the community is called Fort Saskatchewan, Alberta, Canada, and they have totally pivoted from line item data that they show in the budget to summaries within the budget document of every department. Here's Public Works, all of the programs being provided, from cemetery operations to snow removal to taking out the trash and supporting events and festivals. And we can see from one year to the next just what's changing at a program level and why. Down below here are all the explanations for why are we changing the cost of maintaining the cemetery, what's taking place for snow removal. And as they described to us, we gave them an award actually for their pursuit of priority-based budgeting mastery. They said, wow, as we were having normal discussions with city council, we can see that council could have all the detail they wanted for the line item information, but the conversation switches to trade-offs about the programs we want to provide, how much we should be providing from a level of service standpoint, and overall, do these have any connection to the results that we're trying to accomplish? And if you boil it down, what you see in the Fort Saskatchewan program summaries from one year to the next, they said you're answering the questions that council is always asking. Is this program mandated? That might be a reason that the cost is going up. Is anybody else providing this program? Is there a partner? What about cost recovery? Have we thought about charging a fee for it? Or maybe our fees are too high compared to the region overall? These are the questions that we always ask about the programs in priority-based budgeting. All programs get scored with that information, degree of mandate, of whether or not somebody else is providing it, and who else, overall change in demand, population served, cost recovery, as well as the overall alignment with the results that you're trying to accomplish. Here we can see this particular program has a tremendous degree of influence on the results that council is trying to accomplish. And we think if we can pre-answer those questions, what we've seen is you have all the information in front of you to say, I don't need to know anything more about this program. I understand, is this a great recommendation, or is this a recommendation I would like to question and pursue further? Again, when I was in local government, I wanted to take all of that time in the budget process and say, let me pre-answer the questions that you always ask, so you can spend more time on policy and debating the types of investments that you want to make. Well, I'm coming to a close here, and as I do, I simply want to share that you are well on your way in your journey in West Plains. I've just pulled these screen captures which show that you have identified 282 programs already in your program inventory. That's incredible. It tells you something about how complex it is to do your job, or Sam's, or Lean's, or your other staff. You offer you're in so many businesses across all of your departments, but now you can drill in and actually see each and every program you provide. You've allocated, I think, somewhere around close to $40 million in budget information to the programs you provide. So we can drill into the cost of trash services, or treatment plant operations, or preventative patrol. You've gone through the effort to score your programs to see, does this program really have a mandate? Is it required by the federal government or the state government? Is there something in our incorporation documents or city charter? Or is there no mandate whatsoever? You now will have that information about every program that you provide. So you can ask, what are all the programs we offer that are mandated or that are not mandated overall? And you're very close, if not nearing the finish line, excuse me, on scoring programs relative to outcomes that really make a difference. Coming back full circle, how do these programs help make us safer or foster economic opportunity overall? So I will wrap up and simply say you're ever so close to the finish line to have moved from pure line item data to line item data, and now the connection to the outcomes you're trying to achieve, which will hopefully set you up to have a profoundly different experience trying to manage the budget from your seats as elected officials overall for the best of the community of West Plains. I'd be happy to take any questions on the process and where you're at.
Chris, I think we're good.
Okay.
Page 4, line 13.
I had some bad flashbacks when you're showing those line item ones.
I need to use that in my next presentation.
Really do. I will say that, looking at the payroll processing screen for me was probably the most impactful part of your presentation, as that example, because we sit up here regularly and make decisions that, we believe will improve our efficiency, but to actually see that quantitatively laid out that, yes, it actually it was an investment, but it paid off, is something that it's just really hard to show without this kind of program. So very impressive.
Yes. And I'm looking forward to us getting the information out so everybody in town sees where to go in the programs. It's more tied to a program. You see what we're shooting for. So the transparency on what we're doing up here is really important. So Chris, really appreciate your help, and I'm sure Arlene does too.
And if I could just add too, Arlene and I have been through this process before, and what literally used to take several months has been done. We started this process here in West Plains at around May sometime, and we're already at the finish line. And the other city I was in, it took almost a year to get to that point. So kudos to Chris and his team as they've taken on more clients. They've been able to improve the system, improve the process. So I think even their own organization is a model for how efficient they can streamline operations and make things easier for the clients to use as well. So I've just had a tremendous experience this time around that is a lot more positive than it was the first time around. So again, Chris, kudos to you and your team for developing that information. Also want to thank our employees who have gotten us to this point. We expanded our PBB team to probably 25, 35 individuals throughout the organization who in the past maybe didn't have access to the opportunity to really get involved in our budget process. We wanted to invite as many people as we could to get involved in that. So a lot of supervisors, key team persons for each department have all been involved in the process this time around. And they've taken on a lot of new information that is sort of old hat to Arlene and myself. We know what the acronyms are. We can kind of feel this is all new for most of our employees, and they've been able to hang with us. So again, appreciate them for their efforts on that. And we are going to have a little celebratory thank you for their efforts once we get it done. So I've got some money in my budget that we'll pay for it out of that. But just again, want to thank the staff and their time and their commitment to putting this information together for you that we'll be able to get to you shortly. So.
All right.
Thank you, Chris.
Thank you all. Have a great rest of your night.
Chris.
And the next speaker on our agenda, Ms. Hart, will not be joining us tonight. So we'll move on to resolutions. Resolution 2022-17, a resolution authorizing the filing of an application with clarification of the Missouri Department of Natural Resources Financial Assistance Center's state ARPA grant programs.
Make a motion to approve resolution 2022-17.
Second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Resolution 2022-20, a resolution approving the appointment of Heath Hardman as the city prosecutor, fixing the compensation of the city prosecutor, and authorizing the city administrator to execute an agreement for legal services.
Make a motion to approve resolution 2022-20.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Resolution 2022-21, a resolution to approve a rural service agreement for Adam Talbert.
Make a motion to approve resolution 2022-21.
Second. Any discussion on that? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay.
And resolution 2022-22 has been removed from the agenda. So we'll move on to ordinances. Bill 4715 to become ordinance 4715 second reading, an ordinance of the city of West Plains to accept ownership and maintenance of the Court Square public right of way ROW.
Make a motion to approve bill 4715 to become ordinance 4715 second reading.
Second. Sam, do you have any input other than from last month?
Invite Brian to come up. I don't know that we had any public comment on either this item or the next one, but
Okay.
Ask any questions and
This just clears up that gray area around the court and now we own it.
yes, sir.
you take that back. The county presiding commissioner did ask if we had adopted this thing yet. I said,
Yeah.
on the 15th. So
Yeah,
that was the
right.
only question we received from the public. So
Okay, Allison.
Bill 4715 to become ordinance 4715 second reading. Jessica,
Yes.
Josh,
Yes.
Johnny,
Yes.
John,
yes.
Mayor Topliff.
Yes.
Bill 4716 to become ordinance 4716 second reading, an ordinance of the city of West Plains to accept ownership and maintenance of a portion of Powell Valley Road.
Make a motion to approve bill 4716 to become ordinance 4716 second reading.
Second.
We
No,
didn't-
same-
we didn't-
same-
Same situation.
All right.
Comments.
Any discussion with this? All right, Allison.
Bill 4716 to become ordinance 4716. Neese,
Yes.
Cotter,
Yes.
Merle,
Yes.
Neeson,
Yes.
Topliff.
Yes. I like how she changed.
I mixed it up on you a little bit.
What's my name? Bill 4717 to become ordinance 4717 second reading, an ordinance of the city of West Plains authorizing the city administrator to execute the state block grant agreement for a $90,000 grant to the city for the install of a new fuel system project.
Make a motion to approve bill 4717 to become ordinance 4717 second reading.
Second.
Same as last month.
Same as last month. If you have any questions, if you felt anything, feel free to ask.
Allison.
Bill 4717 to become ordinance 4717. Neese,
Yes.
Cotter,
Yes.
Merle,
Yes.
Neeson,
Yes.
Topliff.
Yes.
Bill 47, thanks, Brian. Bill 4718 to become ordinance 4718 first reading, an ordinance of the city of West Plains to amend chapter 2, article 4, division 5, Tourist Development Advisory Council, section 2-295, selection and terms of members of the code of ordinances for the city of West Plains, Missouri, to remove term limits and change meeting times from quarterly to bi-monthly.
Make a motion to approve bill 4718 to become ordinance 4718 first reading.
Second.
Did we need to discuss this any? Is this just kind of cleaning up the bylaws or? Hadn't seen you in a long time. Todd.
Yes, it is. This is at the request of the Tourism Advisory Committee. They just want to clean up the bylaws. The term limits in question are for the hotel representatives. They felt it was too restrictive. There were no other requirements for the other members. So they wanted to remove that, but then they also wanted to change the frequency from which they meet. They, instead of meeting quarterly, they meet every other month now.
Okay. They seem to have a lot more to do now too.
They do,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Thank you, Todd.
Any questions?
No. All right, Allison.
Bill 4718 to become ordinance 4718, first reading. Neese,
Yes.
Cotter,
Yes.
Merle,
Yes.
Neeson,
Yes.
Topliff.
Yes.
Before I read this, I believe we're doing first and second reading on this ordinance. If I read that we're invoking 313E of the charter to do both readings.
We
in
have a
this meeting.
special session next week.
Yeah, I think we just do first reading tonight. We'll do the second reading for this one.
Okay.
Yeah. Mhm.
Next Monday, we'll have a special session. Great.
We had to do that last year, but
Okay.
this year we're in good shape.
I think the ordinance may still refer to that, but hey,
Gotcha.
you know what?
Nope.
We're good. Bill 4719 to become ordinance 4719, first reading, an ordinance of the city of West Plains, Missouri to establish a procedure to disclose potential conflicts of interest and substantial interest for certain officials.
Make a motion to approve Bill 4719 to become ordinance 4719, first reading.
Second.
That's fine.
So yeah, just as a follow-up, this is a requirement. All state government, or all city governments throughout the state are required to do this financial disclosure. Most cities do it every year. And so we will actually, moving forward, we'll have the first reading next year in July, and then second reading in August, meaning so that we can meet the September deadline for the state. So
That's good.
happy to answer any questions.
When do we have to have the forms filled out?
January.
I think before.
Due until May.
Yeah.
Unless you're up for
Oh,
re-election.
Yeah, shortly after the start of the calendar year, you'll get notified that you need to fill out the forms. So
Okay, no problem. Allison?
Bill 4719 to become ordinance 4719, first reading. Neese,
Yes.
Cotter,
Yes.
Merle,
Yes.
Neeson,
Yes.
Topliff.
Yes.
Bill 4720 to become ordinance 4720, first reading, an ordinance providing for the levying and collection of a tax for the general revenue fund within the city of West Plains, Missouri for the year 2022 upon all real, personal, and mixed property within the corporate limits of the city of West Plains, Missouri, subject to taxation.
Make a motion to approve Bill 4720 to become ordinance 4720, first reading.
Second.
All right, good evening again. I know, surprise. So quick little summary. This is our property tax mill levy. We're going to have our first reading tonight, public hearing, and second reading next week. So that's another thing that'll be on the special agenda. We get this information from the county usually in the first week of August. So that's why it's kind of all crammed in. This has to be approved before September 1st and back to the county. So that's kind of why we've got to have those two different meetings, both in August. In case anybody's curious as to why are we making this go so fast. So the valuation for this year, the total valuation went up by 3.4%. All of that is related to new construction and new things that were put on the rolls. It's about $6 million of personal property. So I don't know who bought the big boat this year, but it's on there. So other than that, the rest of our valuations actually went down just a little bit this year. So we've got an increase in additional things added, and then the actual valuation of pre-existing property went down a little bit. Our mill levy, what we're allowed to charge per the calculations that the state runs for us, has gone up by 0.5%. So the levy will go from 0.3091 to 0.3106 this year. That's an additional $21,000 in property tax revenue about.
And that's set by the state, right?
Yes, the state
Okay.
does all the calculation for you. If you want to take an additional like reduction, you can, but you can't do an addition without going to the voters.
Yeah, makes sense.
So we'll be proposing to set our levy at what?
0.3106.
That's up a little bit from last year, correct?
It's up just a little, yep, 0.5%.
Do we have to?
No, you don't have to, I suppose.
We, in the
But-
past, we've always gone with
Yeah.
what the
Yeah.
state,
Yeah.
set it at.
Mhm.
That's all I had.
Okay, thanks. Any other discussion? Ms. Skinner.
Bill 4720 to become ordinance 4720, first reading. Neese,
Yes.
Cotter,
Yes.
Merle,
Yes.
Neeson,
Yes.
Toplet.
Yes.
Next item on our agenda is Jeff Shipley with council action.
Good evening, Mayor and Council.
Good evening.
I have 6 items to bring before you tonight. First item is a bucket truck for the electric department. It's been about 5 years since we purchased a bucket truck. The newest one we have is a 2017. If approved, Eric would sell an older bucket truck. I believe it's a 2002 to help make up the difference in his budgeted amount and the actual cost of the vehicle. And if need be, he would give up a couple of wire trailers if he needed to do that as well. So moving on, the new bucket truck, this is from a Sourcewell contract. This bucket truck is a 2023 AT48 mounted on a F550 Ford chassis. This is from Altech. As you can see, it's nearly a 2-year delivery on that. So price of the truck and price of the unit is $186,274.
Make a motion that we accept the bid of Alltech of St. Joe, Missouri for $186,274 for a new bucket truck for the electric department.
Second.
No, we don't actually pay it till it's delivered, right?
Right.
And did you have this on a list somewhere, a bucket list?
But I can. You've been waiting all day.
Oh, that was a drum roll for your next one.
Actually, I'll answer your first question, not the bucket list question. But anyway, we have before, they didn't mention it, but we have before had to pay for the chassis. Once the chassis is finished and it goes to Altech to have the unit put on. I don't know if that's what we'll have to do this time, but we have had to do that before. But we also get a certificate saying that they have received our truck. So, we know it's not just.
Well, with the way costs are and stuff, like,
and they
better lock it in right now. We're probably
right
$20,000 ahead.
Right.
So. Any other discussion? And I'll try to keep my comments. Allison? Oh, wait, no.
Yep. Just a question, and does this all tie back into our capital improvement plans? And it's in our priority-based budgeting?
So the PBB system doesn't necessarily tie in capital. So we have a separate 5-year capital improvement plan where we identify.
These are all in
vehicle
there.
purchases. Yes.
Okay.
Yep. These are all budgeted for this year. Yep.
All right. All those in favor say yes.
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 Okay, the second item is a double drum roller for the transportation department. As you can see, Brian, he has 45,000 budgeted there for the roller. He has 2 older rollers now. And just to be honest with you, it's very hard to get parts for them. So that's why we are looking to hopefully replace it with a new one. So he will be selling some older rollers if this is approved and the roller is purchased. But I have 2 bidders. I have Potter Equipment. I have Murphy Tractor. Murphy Tractor has the low bid on a 2022 Ham 24 horse at $42,000.
Make a motion that we approve the bid of Murphy Tractor of Springfield, Missouri, for $42,000 for a new double drum roller for the transportation department.
Second.
Any questions? All those in favor say yep.
Yep.
Okay, next item is a new pickup for the electric department. What this is 3 dealers from the state contract. This is for a 2023 crew cab. This will allow apprentice linemen, if they go to school, we wouldn't have to take multiple vehicles. Will be one reason why we are looking to purchase this. And we will also sell one of our older pickups once the new one comes in, whenever that would be. Corbin Auto has the low bid on a 2023 F-150 at $39,428.
Make a motion that we approve the bid of Corwin Auto, Republic, Missouri, for $39,428 for a new pickup for the electric department.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
The next pickup would be for the planning department. Again, this is part of the state contract. They have a budget amount of 27,000. As you can see, there's about a $9,700 difference there. But they are going to, with the savings from Elements Excess that we had originally were going to do, we are switching to BSNA, which will save us $10,115. That will help offset what's budgeted and the actual cost of the vehicle. Again, I have Corwin Auto in Republic, Missouri, for $36,721.
Make a motion that we accept the bid of Corwin Auto of Republic, Missouri for $36,721 for a new pickup for the planning department.
Second.
I seem to have a different form on mine. I have it for 39,000.
That was the sewer department.
That's probably the next one.
Where the? Okay.
You were just.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
And there's no waiting time for these. It's just the bucket truck.
No,
Okay.
these will probably honestly be spring, summer of 23 would be my guess.
Okay.
I know the trucks that you guys approved in May of 21, I still don't have all of those.
Wow.
Yikes. So no, I wouldn't expect these before spring.
Okay. No further discussion? All in favor, say yep.
Yep.
The last pickup I have is a pickup for the sewer department. This would be a vehicle just like the one that was approved for electric. Again, these are all state contract dealers here. They do have an older two-door pickup that is in rough condition that they will retire once the new one comes in. I have a low bid from Corwin again at $39,428.
Make a motion that we approve the bid of Corwin Auto of Republic, Missouri for $39,428 for a new pickup for the sewer department.
Second.
Any discussion? No. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
That was boring, wasn't it?
Professional though.
So the last item I have tonight, this is street sealant, surfacing and crack fill for the transportation department. This is a pricing is basically piggybacked from Greene County's current contract. This is from Donaldson Construction. They've done some work for us, I believe, about the last 5 years or so. We have a few less streets this year to do, so a little cheaper than it was last year. But this again is for crack fill, pressure pave, and so forth. Looks like about 8 streets for a total of $254,484.58.
Make a motion that we approve the bid of Donaldson Construction of Clever, Missouri for $254,484.58 for street sealant, surfacing and crack fill.
Second.
Any questions? No. Is it Cleaver or Clever?
Clever, right?
Cleaver. All those in favor say yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jim.
Same.
Last item on our agenda tonight is the administrator's report.
Unless you have any questions, just 2 quick items for you. Note that our last day of the swim season at the outdoor pool will be August 21st. So that is this Sunday, but we are going to keep the pool open. There's a swim meet on August 26th for the boys Zizzer swim team. And we are going to open the pool up on August 28th for anybody who wants to bring their dog for a little dip in the water. So
Doggy day.
they do need to provide proof of a rabies vaccine, but we'll post some information on social media on how residents can get involved and let their dogs take a run in the pool. So, and that's it.
As far as I have, want to thank the citizens of West Plains for approving the capital improvement tax. And look forward to, we will be setting up the advisory board for that. So look for that online to, if you're interested, to join and help us use the money wisely. And I did not have a copy with the mayor the first Friday because I was out of town, but tomorrow evening from 6 to 7 at Wages Brewery, there'll be a social hour with the mayor. It's a cash bar. So you pay for your drinks. I have a meeting right afterwards, so I'll be good. Other than that, no further business. May God bless, and we are adjourned.
Oh, had to backtrack on that one, didn't you?
I thought I might just skip the school board meeting tomorrow.